enforcers. Have you ever come across a crime so ridiculous you let it slip? Story 1. When I was about 17, some friends and I got involved in a scavenger hunt. It was a tie, so the tiebreaker was bring back the coolest thing you can find. We didn't get anything special, but the other group, they went to a dollar store type of place that had a coin-operated horse in front of it. It was about 1 a.m., and there were no other cars in the lot besides an '86 Nova driven by my friend. They start to dismantle this horse, eventually getting it apart, put it back in the Nova with the head sticking out the window, and drive off. They get about 15 feet before the two cops who have been watching them the entire time pull up. They ended up having to put this horse back together, then made everyone ride it to make sure it still worked. My good friend was scared and crying, riding a mechanical horse. After I heard this story, I knew the cops probably thought it was the funniest thing they had seen in a long time. Edit. Thanks so much for the gold. Joined Reddit less than a week ago. My friend who rode the Horse of Tears loves the drawings. Thanks. Opinion. Oh yes, I guarantee that they still tell everyone about this. Every department has a handful of stories like this. Story 2. I was actually observing the following exchange in court once. A lady received a ticket for seat cushion violation. So, in my state, if you are unusually short for whatever reason, you get a restriction on your license that says you need a booster seat to drive. Makes logical sense. Here's how the exchange went. So, Miss Whatever, you're here for a seat cushion violation. Wait. Is that even a thing? Lengthy exchange with the state attorney followed. They put white noise in so we couldn't hear it, but the judge was laughing the whole time. Well, okay, that's a new one. How tall are you? 5'2", Your Honor. So you're not that short, really. Do you have a restriction on your license? No, Your Honor. The officer said I looked really short and needed it. Wait, what? Case dismissed. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Opinion. This is how most judges behave. Story 3. I frequently, or did, when I was in uniform, let impaired care or impaired control slide. If I found someone sleeping in the back seat of their parked car after drinking, it demonstrated to me a decision to not drink and drive. I would often take keys or drive someone home, but arresting them just seemed wrong. Edit. I have never been guilted before. Thank you kindly. Opinion. I never understood that law. If it's winter and cold, the bar closes and you have no place to go, what are you supposed to do? Good on you for rewarding people for making the decision not to drink and drive. Story 4. A long time ago in a life far removed from my own, I had a nasty addiction. I cleaned up my life and had been clean for 3 years. My friend had been learning to become a tattoo artist and asked if I wanted one. To repay his kindness, I picked up a 30-pack and some tequila. After about 3 hours of him doing the tattoo, and most of the beers and booze gone, we came up with the plan. We were going to go to the city and score some illegal substances. Didn't take long and we accomplished just that. We found a nice, quiet, dimly lit parking lot to pull in and get high. We broke out the gear and started. We got his ready faster and got it done. I was out of practice and fumbled around for a bit. Just then, someone knocked on the window. It was the cops. We rolled down the window and they asked if we knew where we were. Before we could say anything, the cop said, "This is the effing police station parking lot. Are you an effing idiot?" They took the illegal substances and sent us on our way. And I now have 13 years clean thanks to that cop. Opinion. That story was great in more ways than one. Also, congratulations on being clean. Story 5. I had a motorcycle accelerate past me right as I was about to get off the interstate. He downshifted and took off, clearly being an arrogant idiot. I merged back on and chased him, even though I had no realistic chance of catching him. He continued to flee even after I initiated lights and sirens, and attempted to get off at the next exit to lose me. I lost sight of him as he hit the ramp because it went down to the road at an angle. As I got to the exit, I had to slam on the brakes as he was laying in the middle of the road. He had lost it trying to make the turn onto the surface street. He got up as I got out of the car and had his helmet in his hand. I drew my long-distance hole puncher and ordered him to the ground, but he was too busy slamming his helmet on the pavement, repeatedly yelling, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." I did take him to jail, but did not charge him for felony evading arrest. I figured his totaled bike and sky-high insurance premiums would probably prevent any future motorcycle-related shenanigans. Plus, he was kind enough to let me catch him in the first place. Opinion: this guy was really close to a Darwin Award. Story 6. I was working the metal detector at our court. I tell people to remove anything metal from their pockets and place it on the table before walking through. This one guy pulls out his plastic bag of that green illegal substance and lays it out in front of me. I did a triple take to make sure it was what I thought it was. I told him that is not metallic and that he should keep that in his pocket next time. Since he already has some legal issues pending in court, I decided not to pile anything else on him. I confiscated the bag and signed it into evidence to be destroyed. No charges. I see the guy around all the time now. Opinion: what kind of genius brings an illegal substance to court? Story 7. My ex-fiancé was a cop for a redneck town where the people didn't have much money. He was called to the grocery store where a little girl about 9 was being detained in the manager's office for stealing a box of tampons. He said she had tears and snot everywhere, and her pants had obvious blood stains all over the front. My ex then bought the box she was trying to steal, along with 3 more boxes, some food and milk. He then drove her home to a trailer that was falling apart. It wasn't so much the crime that was ridiculous, but more the manager's reaction, I guess. When my ex came in, the manager was just screaming at this terrified 9-year-old. Opinion: I've been laughing at some of the other comments. This one made me really sad. Story 8. Not a cop, but would like to thank one for letting me go. I was driving home from work and was stuck in South California traffic. Didn't have to pee when I got into my car, but by the time I was about to hit my off-ramp, I felt like I was about to let loose the rolling thunder building up in my bladder. My house was about 2 to 3 blocks from the freeway off-ramp and about halfway up a steep hill. There was also a community college, a mall, and a high school in the nearby area, so the intersection leading up to the hill was a notorious speed trap. I was paying more attention to the impending tsunami than the cop car at the intersection when the light turned green. Lights, sirens, and I'm about to cry. At this point, I don't even care about the ticket as I can literally see my apartment door. And I'm in danger of unleashing Niagara Falls in my car. I had literally never had to pee so badly in my life. A cop walks up to my car and I can't do it. I open the door, bad form, I know, shove my wallet, ID, and insurance into his hands, and sprint to my house across 4 lanes of traffic. I left my keys on the door and the door open. Didn't care. Had to pee. I hear the cop enter the house as I'm literally sitting on the toilet, peeing my brains out in a seemingly never-ending stream. When he knocked on the door, I thought I was surely going to jail. My little nothing military career was going to be ruined, and I didn't want to get unalived on the toilet. I was convinced he was going to unalive me for running. Apparently, my internal monologue of freaking out wasn't so internal. At some point, he started laughing and asked me if I was okay. I told him I was, that I would be out in a moment, and that I was terribly sorry about all of it. When I finished washing my hands and stepped out of the bathroom, the cop was in my living room waiting for me. He told me that he pulled my car into our complex's parking lot and warned me not to do that kind of thing in the future. He tossed me the keys and walked out to his squad car, still chuckling. TLDR. Brain versus Bladder. Bladder won. The cop was nice, and I suspect I gave him a story for his buddies. Added to Ed. It's official. My top-rated comment on Reddit is about getting out of a ticket by almost being myself. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. Opinion. This story proves that cops are capable of being compassionate and understanding. Story 9. I overheard this one last night, as I was sitting near two Indiana cops at Panda Express. So, this lady had a warrant for an unpaid ticket and missed the court date. I brought her in, and it turns out that her address was wrong, and she never got the court summons. The original ticket was for possession of a black bass, under 14 inches, and since she had missed the court summons, it was now on her record. So, if she goes to apply for a job and they inevitably ask her, "Do you have any criminal history?" she is obligated to say, "Yes." Now imagine if the employer asks why. I caught a small fish. Opinion. So not getting a summons due to an error doesn't account for anything? Story 10. A couple of kids came in confessing they stole a balloon. They didn't know it was Free Balloon Day. We put them in a cell for 3 seconds, then let them out and gave them lollipops. Gotta love being a cop. Opinion. Plot twist. They stole a full-size hot air balloon. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the bell button to receive notifications to my latest videos.